Yo, 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 yo. Lois be chilling right now. She got a little drive-in dust. What are you watching? Life. Yes, Lois, unfortunately, does have. Hold on. Let me fix the internet. I care for the people. Monday Night Raw. Now, I believe Kevin Brennan is still on the air, but I got to go on at some point. I try and hold it. I mean, I don't know if it's the best show out there, to be honest with you. Melendez Meat Pocket. That certainly seems to be a popular phrase right now. And Lois does not have a dry cough. She has a heart murmur where fluid builds up in her lungs, and it's a whole thing. But Earl Skakel in the Earlverse. Well, you know what? That's Kevin Brennan for you. I appreciate you, Kevin. Yeah, I'm just trying to make it. I paid $5 to plug this show on his podcast. But I try and be respectful. I am a comedy soldier. I don't beg for money. I don't ask you guys to do anything. I just want you to get stings. And I'm low tech. But I like it that way. I only raw dog it with people I know. Well, it's not the most high-tech stream. I'm not going to lie to you there. I embrace my lack of technological know-how. But I like talking to the people. And, if you want, this is Melendez Meat Pocket, a phrase I never thought I would say in real life. It's a quick stream. I do about an hour. Sometimes if we're rolling, we do 2. But I'm excited because there's a big Los Angeles Kings game tonight against the Edmonton Oilers. Big game for the Kings. But we don't have to talk hockey. We can talk comedy. We can talk about pedophiles and rapists in the world of stand-up comedy. We can talk about this is a Dabbleverse light stream, to be honest with you. But you can talk about the Dabbleverse, but all Dabble. See, I have a tiered structure for super chats. And I read most super chats, whether or most questions in here, whether they're super chats or not. But if you want to talk about the Dabbleverse, it's $100 and up. Any Jeff Ross questions, $500 and up. Ex-girlfriend questions, depending on the question and the girl, it's a tiered structure there. I'm just kidding around. I don't do guests on here. I try and differentiate myself from other guests or other streams by not um, having guests. I love Mike Bichetti. I like the new um, angry Mike Bichetti. So I'm just doing a little promotion. What about WWE questions, like your opinion? I'm just kind of kidding around, Teddy. I'm not going to charge people for asking me a certain question. I mean, think of me as a bartender. If you like what you hear, tip. If not, I'll probably still ask the question. Um, so, um, I'm more of an AEW guy myself. Hold on, I got to turn the light on to type my tweet out. But I like doing this alone just because I, I'm just trying to be a little different than all the other podcasts that um, are out there. No, I did not just wake up, but I'm an honest Earl. I'm honest Earl. I woke up about 3 hours ago. I had a long night in comedy last night. Um, but a long night in comedy is good. So, and then I took Lois for an incredibly long walk. Lois can hold her PPN like nobody's business, but she does have to be walked a fair amount of time. And I don't mind doing it. Go Flyers, go Sabres, honky tonk. I don't know if you're cheering for the Oilers. Honky tonk. If you're an Oilers fan, all super chat questions for you are $10,000. I can't have Oiler fans. I'd rather talk about the Dabbleverse. No, I'm just kidding. I thought Shane Gillis did a good job on SNL. I mean, he was basically doing his stand up, which I thought was interesting. Usually they'll make like topical jokes and whatnot, but well, I'm Jewish, honky tonk, so that is reasonable. But I actually enjoy. I don't do the streaming for the money per se. I like your style. Poor Lives Matter, Earl. I do. I'm doing this just to build up my name a little bit. You know, I certainly don't intend to be rich from streaming or whatnot. Yes, Daddy, man, Mama, Dr. Nova. Well, I see a lot of some usual chatters in the house. Um, starting to find that the best time for me is kind of right after MLC. And to be honest with you, piggyback some of their fans who are still wanting to listen to a stream, and then I don't interrupt Pat Dixon's stream. Um, I was up this morning for some weird reason. I really wanted to do one, but I didn't want to step on Melton's stream or Shuli's. So 4 p.m. seems to be like the dead spot of streaming. So I thought it's a good time to hold on. Tracy Carnazzo is messaging me right now, and she is the reason I am monetized. Thank you very much. Let me message Kevin Brennan. I'm all about thanking people. That's Lois. Lois, as you know, is an older dog. And I have to take care of her. Oh, I'm getting multiple texts now. I don't have a producer. I have to do everything myself. That's why I'm a comedy soldier. But I'm happy that 22 people, 26 people are in here. We're a small stream. I can't compete with the big dogs. Shuley got 1,000 plus. Kevin's got 1,000 plus. Melton, I don't know, 600, 700. I can't. I'm not trying to compete with the big dogs. And I know I have my detractors, but you know what? You don't have to listen. I want you to listen, but you don't have to. Thank you, Melendez, but please tell him this is not a Dabbleverse stream. I'm trying to, I'm trying to be almost like an alternative to the Dabbleverse. We can talk about it, but I prefer to talk about wrestling, hockey. Do you hang out with the Dice Man? I mean, I'm friends with him. I wouldn't say we hang out, to be honest with you. Probably the coolest. Well, I don't know if it's the coolest night, but one night at the Comedy Store in the parking lot, Dice wanted me to hear his kids' band, their new music, and I was in his car. I think it was a white Dodge Challenger, and it was awesome. Like, I'm sitting in a car with a guy who basically is the reason I wanted to be a stand-up. Surely buys followers. I don't know about that. I don't really. I mean, in full disclosure, I did buy downloads for my podcast, so I'm really not one to go after anyone for buying followers. I'm here for the acoustics first. Listen, I know that this is not the best acoustics in the Dabbleverse. And thank you to Tracy Carnazzo for telling me what wire to plug in to the mic and the computer. But I'm doing my best. Right now, this is the best technical version of my stream you're going to get. I don't know if being number one on iTunes podcast was completely legitimate, Sour Milk, to be honest with you. But you know what? I don't regret doing it. Thank you, Melendez, very much. I think you guys know the story. I was at an A-list party, Christmas party at Rob Riggle's house, to be honest with you. And this publicist came up to me and said, "Oh, you're Earl. I love your podcast. I really like these weird guests you get, like the bad guy from Superman 2. Like, who would think of interviewing him in, like, I think it was like 2018." And then he's like, "Well, you get cool guests, but your numbers are pretty bad." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I know." He's like, "Well, you know what you have to do? That's Kazusuke Okada." And I'm glad he's coming to AEW. But I'm like, "Well, no, what do I have to do?" He's like, "You have to buy followers. If you want to have, say, the singer from Metallica on, he's not going to do a podcast that has, 700 downloads. He wants to do Joe Rogan, who has 1 million downloads or whatever, Theo Vaughn's podcast." And I said, "Well, be honest with me. How many people fake followers or buy listeners or downloads?" This is when it was called iTunes Comedy. He's like 70. I'm like, "What do you mean 70? He's like 70% of all podcasts in iTunes Comedy enhance their following numbers. So at that point, I was like, fuck it. I felt like a natural bodybuilder trying to win the Mr. Olympia. I'm like, if everyone else is doing it, I'm going to do it too. And then, the guy I used, I said, "Listen, play it cool. Play it cool. Don't put me at number one. No one's going to believe that. Keep me like hovering around 50. And for the first couple months, I was around 50, and then I got to 30. And I'm like, all right, I called him, "Hey man, any higher than 30, it's not going to be believable with the guests that I'm getting." And then one Saturday morning, I'll never forget, I started getting hundreds of calls, texts, DMs. My neighbor knocked on my door, and I knew without even looking what happened. He put me at number one. Like, I had a Rogan and Burr and Marin. I'm like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And in those 2 days, I was number 1 on iTunes Comedy or whatever, I think it was 2 days. I was getting offers to tour the world. I was number 1 in Australia. I think I was, like, number 1 in Canada too. Like, I wasn't just number 1 in the States. Uh, and then, I got caught. And then I got shadow banned on, yeah, if you look up, Melinda's Meat Pocket, Jack O'Halloran, Inappropriate Earl. I did not get Zod, I got Nom, the big guy who didn't talk. I was very proud of that. I mean, he's gigantic. Uh, and he was awesome. Like he fought George Foreman. He was supposed to fight Muhammad Ali. He was supposed to be Jaws in the James Bond movies, according to him. And it's one of my favorite interviews. Like he came to my house. So yeah, I mean that's you probably like that one. I mean, I have a lot of '80s metal guys on. Have some pro wrestlers on. I have Rob Schneider on. David Arquette, UFC fighter Don Fry. So for a while, I was really enjoying doing it. I really was. But I never got paid. So, I made more money last month streaming on YouTube, $700, than I did in 361 episodes of Inappropriate Earl, 5 years of working on Roast Battle, and 2 years of the Comedy Store Wrestling Podcast. I've reached out to not the bully from My Bodyguard, but Adam Baldwin from My Bodyguard, because that movie meant so much to me because I was bullied right around that time too. So, um, and I was the size of Ricky Lenderman in grade school. But he hasn't gotten back to me. Oh, like if you like, I think it means a lot to me because I really was seriously bullied um, in grade school and maybe the first year of high school. But I was the size of Adam Baldwin in My Bodyguard, but I was bullied like, um, Christopher Makepeace, who was the kid in My Bodyguard. By the way, Christopher Makepeace, this is a weird uh, info about him. The Kiss album, The Elder, which was a complete bomb, but now it's kind of gotten a cult following with Kiss fans. There was supposed to be a movie, and Christopher Makepeace was going to be, I guess, the kid in the movie, but they never made the movie because the album didn't do so well. But I tried to get the kid from My Bodyguard with the bowl cut. When Christopher Makepeace sits down for the first time, he's like, "This kid had the best comedy timing. Hey, feel under your desk, fresh boogers. You can get hepatitis with the right booger." Like that guy was so fucking funny. But he never. Um, I don't think he ever acted again. I think he's like I found him. He's like a realtor in Chicago or something. I mean, that movie was so good. Like, just everyone in the movie was good. Like Matt Dillon was great as the bully. His little henchmen were. I don't think any of them did anything after that movie. They were great. We all knew like the good-looking blonde guy. Like he was like I guess a precursor to William Zabka. The bald bad guy at the end. He was a great bad guy. John Cusack's sister. She was really good in it. Jennifer Beals from Flashdance was in it. Kind of a small role, but she was in it. It was and Ruth Gordon reminded me so much of my mom, and Martin Mull, and just one of the uh, great '80s. I mean, that was like the first of the '80s movies, like the teen angst movies, but it was kind of a little bit of a drama too. Um, I just remember seeing a double feature of My Bodyguard and Porky's, and you couldn't really get two movies that were more philosophically different. Like they were the same, they were going after the same market, teenagers, and I was 1980, 12. Uh, and it was just like I saw My Bodyguard was first, and then Porky's. And I definitely needed a palate cleanser because My Bodyguard is like a sad. It's kind of like a sad movie, you know. But funny at the same time. But Porky's was a little more. By the way, rest in peace. Speaking of Porky's, last week, a man who I was in talks with to do Inappropriate Earl at one point, but we just, I don't think he was really hip on technology. Rest in peace, Meet Anthony Tuparello, aka Tony Gagnos. Also in he was if you watch Die Hard 2, which is kind of an underrated gem. He was the guy Bruce Willis stabbed with the eye pick or with the ice pick. It sucks because I'm 55, so a lot of people I grew up watching on TV and movies like Tony Gagnos, Carl Weathers just passed away. The Wanderers. He was also in the Great Ken Wall. I mean, this movie is so bad it's good. Escape from Beverly Hills. I believe he was in that as well. Um, and then Paul Diamato, who was, if you are a hockey fan, every hockey fan has seen the movie Slapshot. He played the character of Tim Dr. Hook McCracken. He also was the Vietnam vet in it's an awesome scene in Deer Hunter where he's drinking at the bar. And I think De Niro or John Cazale said something to him. He just had like a 2-word reply, but it was such a powerful scene. Also hard to play. Yeah, but I mean, he's been gone. Mr. C's Hot Glass Pipe, aka Honk the Clown. Jesus, you guys got some long names today. And I think another guy from Porky's committed suicide. I forget which one. I mean, casting couch stuff has happened to me. I mean, you guys know the famous story about the Fox executive who, let's just say, he wanted to get friendly. I didn't. And he tried multiple times. So, it happens more and more with gay, like, everyone concentrates on like the women, and it definitely happens. But, a lot of people in casting are gay. So it's like, I would say it happens to men almost as much. And, when it happened to me, I never really, I guess it didn't bother me because I was like, this is just how the business is. Deal with it. But then when Rose McGowan came out, and started basically the Me Too stuff, I was like, that was kind of fucked up. This guy was trying to fuck me. And he did it twice. He tried to do it twice. Like the first time I stopped it and I'm like, hey, bro, And then the second time, he tried again. I'm like, I never saw him after that. Although he would call me from time to time. But he's no longer with us. Yes, I know. So I don't want to repeat the story again, but Sour Milk, you know what I'm talking about. Cat Williams was right. I mean, Cat Williams really gained a lot of respect because how many people call out Joe Rogan? Like, we all want to get on Joe's podcast. And Cat, it's funny, like, because Cat was truthful, Joe liked that. And he's like, hey, you have an open invite. So I don't know what he died of, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to guess. I mean, I really didn't know him all that well. But, it's funny, like he casted X-Files in one of my favorite 3-season shows, Millennium, with the great Lance Henriksen. What up, Luna Shtick? So every time I saw like a good-looking guy with like one line in either TV show, like, like playing the UPS guy or the hotel clerk or whatever, I'm like, I know how that guy got that part. Boom, boom, boom. When did it happen? Whenever King of the Hill came out because he initially, and I know Sour Milk knows the story, but there are some people in here who didn't. I was doing comedy. It's probably a little, maybe late '90s, I think. Whenever King of the Hill started, because this guy saw me at a comedy show, and I was pretty bad at the time. I mean, I was just starting, maybe 6 months in, and I did a joke about the movie Clueless. And he came up to me after the show, "Oh my god, you're so funny, blah, 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 blah. And do you wanna meet Brittany Murphy tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he gave me his card, he's Fox casting guy. I show up to the office next day on the lot of Fox. So this guy was legit. Um, and then, I'm in his office and he like starts taking off his pants. I'm like, "What are you doing, bro?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Where's Brittany Murphy?" And she was in the next room doing the King of the Hill table read. So I met her and she was nice and like it was a quick meeting, nothing substantial. And then um he tried again like a couple days later. And I'm like, "Bro, where's Brittany Murphy?" Pew! Uh, I did not drop my trousers, Mrs. C. I'm just gonna call you Mrs. C for brevity. Um let me see when King of the Hill started. I mean, because it was the OG table read, man. I mean, Mike Judge was there. Um, 1997 it started, so it was yeah that checks out. I knew it was late '90s because I had just started comedy, but I wouldn't even say I started because I would do it like once every 2 weeks because I had stage fright, which is funny because I don't now. But by the way, the weather report in Los Angeles, it's just started raining. That is all. The LA Kings and Edmonton Oilers take the ice tonight in Edmonton, Alberta, 6:30 face-off time. Big game. This is the game PL Dubois was given $8.5 million for to be a fly in the ointment of Connor McDavid. Get it together, Dubois. And while you're at it, Arturs Kaliev. Come on, dude. You're my favorite player on the Kings. Get it together. Good show Saturday night at the Comedy Store. Of course, everyone ran the light except for my friend George Perez. My 12:15 spot became a 1:20 in the morning spot. And I still got to do 40 minutes. And I cranked it out, baby dolls. Because I'm a soldier. Don't do this. Yes. Don't do what, Dr. Nova? You guys have to be more specific in chat. Sometimes Chris Mack, just Perry Caravello. You guys are heckling me with just names. I've known Perry 25 years. I didn't find him funny then. I don't find him funny now. But hey, if you guys do, if Perry's new to you guys, I get why you would be enchanted by him. I just think it's not funny making fun of a retarded guy for 25 straight years. I mean, I just don't get that. But hey, what do I know? You know, let's get back to talking about Porky's and my bodyguard. Good evening, SC Vid Show. Welcome aboard. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. That's the only thing I will ask. I mean, my first jersey I ever bought was a Bernard King white New York Knicks number 30. Um, oh, okay. Sorry about that. I had the Brody Stevens spot Saturday night, which is closing out the main room. It was an honor. What do you think about late night comedy these days? I mean, it's funny. I was just talking about this with someone. I think the funniest people you'll never see on late night TV because every comic you see, literally every 90% of comics you see on comedy festivals, successful podcasts, late night TV. It's all managers getting them those gigs. Um, so it's just I don't think it's very good to answer your question. And I could hear the haters going, "Well, you're just saying that because you're not on it." This is exactly my point. Talent wise, I should have had a late night comedy spot. I say that with no cockiness, but I've seen open mic level comics on all the major TV shows, and that Netflix is a joke festival. It's a joke. Like I'm seeing open micers on that festival, and I can't get them to return my email. It's not bitter. It's just being honest. Better actor and comedian. That's a tough one. I mean, it's pretty even. I mean, I think John Candy was the better actor, and Chris Farley. I mean, they weren't. I don't know if they were comedians though. They were comic actors, but both great. Yes, AC/DC 5150, Boulder, Johnny. We got some Earl regulars in the house. I liked Shane Gillis, like um, on SNL. I thought I mean, the monologue to me was weird because it was basically a stand-up, which I don't think a lot of comics have done. Usually they'll do like a Biden joke or a Trump joke or something maybe related to the musical guest on the show. But I mean, Shane Gillis is a super nice guy. I've met him a few times at the Comedy Store, and he's awesome dude. Like he came up to me once and said, "Hey Earl," I'm like, I didn't even know he knew me, But he's the type of guy you'll do one show with him, he'll remember your name. Um, I mean, well, sour milk. It's one thing to be funny to your friends; it's another to be funny to a room full of strangers. But I mean, listen, George Perez was in prison, and he talks about it on stage. It's very funny. So I'm not discouraging you. I'm just saying, don't think because you make your friends laugh though that you can make an audience of strangers laugh. Um, well, but I mean, Burr and Chappelle are next level. And Sinbad, I did a breast cancer benefit with Sinbad. He doesn't get the credit for being as funny as he is. I like Jim Belushi. And what was that movie he did with the hot girl with short hair, where he's in prison, but he breaks out the not risky business, but taking care of business or something. Yes, Carl Weathers. I mean, it is kind of true what I said. Stallone said what a great guy Carl Weathers is, but you put Terry Crews in the Expendables, all four of them. Like, come on. Everyone would love to see Carl Weathers in the Expendables. Just CGI him in the next one. Not that hard. Carl Weathers, great actor. Forrest 10 from Navarone, Death Hunt. He was in a lot of other movies. I think who did he play? Blue Moon Tatum or something in that movie Semi Tough. Uh, Not the one with Will Ferrell, but the one with Chris Christopherson and Burt Reynolds. Um, so, I just wish that. Yeah, Action Jackson. I mean, Action Jackson was kind of a bomb. But Weathers was really hot at the time. He was coming in off of Rocky 4, and which was like a couple years before, and then obviously Predator. So I think that Action Jackson was like his shot at, can this guy carry a movie? And it didn't bomb, but it didn't do great. Great cast though: Robert Davi, Sharon Stone, Craig T. Nelson, Bill Duke from Predator. But just I don't know. It just that was like the height of the '80s action movie stars, like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Van Damme was coming in. I think in the same year with Bloodsport, Seagal was coming in. So I for some reason you'd think a black action hero would have played well in the mid '80s, but and Chuck Norris. Um, so there was, I guess, only so many rooms for action heroes. What do I think of Doctor Phil? I've never been a fan of Doctor Phil. I just think he's a pompous ass. You mean Speakman? Michael Jai White. I mean, I think there's definitely. I mean, the last Expendables movie did not do well because the cast was kind of wonky. I mean, I think so. There's some actors who absolutely should be in the next one. If they, I doubt they'll do a fifth one, but Seagal, um, Michael Jai White, Michael Dudikoff. Um, I mean, who else? I mean, Jeff Speakman. I mean, it would be great if they said, "Hey, let's do one more. This is it." Oh, you mean Adam Ray as Dr. Phil? I like Adam Ray as Dr. Phil. I don't like Dr. Phil. You put Jeff Speakman, the Al Leong, who was like the go-to Asian guy. Um, I'm trying to think. Maybe even Danny Glover because of his Lethal Weapon stuff. Um, I mean, there's not many uh, action heroes left that haven't been in the Expendables. Someone made a really good list on Reddit, and it was like, damn, maybe Don the Dragon Wilson, although he never really broke through mainstream. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jackie Chan was more humorous action guy. I mean, maybe if you really want to go all out, yeah, Jesse Ventura would be great. I mean, Bob Wall, who was the bad guy in Enter the Dragon. Now he's probably 90 years old. I mean, he was pretty old when Enter the Dragon was filmed in Game of Death. But like, I don't know, you could have him be a bad guy or something. I mean, anyone from the cast of Predator that's still alive. You know, I mean, you could just. I would do one more Expendables and just load it with everyone. Just have a fun, completely ridiculous. You can have Robert Davi. Yeah, but Corey Feldman doesn't really fit the vibe. Well, it's going to be hard to get New Jack, who did headbutt me once at a comedy show. He just, after the show was over, he's like, "You a funny motherfucker." Um, yeah, I mean, I would just have a free for all. The last Expendable, call it the last ride, and you have yeah, I mean, I didn't move, man. Yeah, I mean, all anyone from Best of the Best that's alive. I know Eric Roberts was in. uh, yeah, it was pretty funny. I was hosting a show in a bowling alley called Lucky Strike, and they had a comedy show in the back room, which it was horrible because you could hear the bowling and it was just awful. But a lot of good comics, would go. Ian Bagg, Dalia, and before certain things happened, and New Jack was in the front row the whole night. He was kind of laughing, not really. And then I said, "Good night, ladies and gentlemen. That's the show." And I said, "Hey, man, I'm a big fan." And he got up like he was going to hit me because I kind of took a step back because he had a presence about him that very few people do, and he just headbutted me, and he just looked at me after, kind of like with a smirk, and "You a funny motherfucker," and then that was that. Um, yeah, I mean, there's definitely anyone from Universal Soldier that's around. Um, Well, I don't know about that SC. I mean, Michael Richards was a pretty bad comic, but he was a great comic actor. But usually one doesn't blend into the other. To be honest with you. Um, oh, Spike Dudley was a fucking maniac when Sid Vicious power bombed him. Oh yeah, a great comedy actor. But there's Brad Garrett is one of the few who's a great comic and a great comedy actor. I thought Brad Garrett should have won an Emmy for his "I'm Dying Up Here" role, but the show didn't really have a lot of buzz, to be honest. Yeah, Spike Dudley was the OG Darby Allin, like the bumps those two take. I mean, you wonder, like I know I get sore from my hockey days, and I didn't take a tenth of the punishment Spike Dudley did. Um, so yeah, I mean, he was great on Seinfeld. It's like, and let's be honest, he never has to work again. I mean, I know I make good money on the Jellies, which was a decently rated cartoon for 2 of the 3 years it was out, because the first year was on Tyler, the Creator's, phone app, so we don't really get residuals from that. But, I do alright, 2 seasons on Adult Swim. Michael Richards, what did Seinfeld go, 12 seasons on NBC, and it was the number 1 show pretty much all 12 seasons, and it's replayed constantly. I mean, he must probably clear 100 grand a month forever. Seinfeld will always be on. It's like Gilligan's Island. Seinfeld will be on in 50 years. Um, I mean, I don't know if he did survive Sour Milk. I mean, he doesn't really work a lot. I mean, because it wasn't, as a comic, I've been there. I've been heckled, and I think what happened with Michael Richards at the Laugh Factory, and by the way, that was the best set I've ever seen him have. Hello. My moderator is in the house, Gina Bobina. Um, Hello, Gina. It's good to have a woman in here. It's a real sword fest here right now. I'll tell you what's not going on in here. Super chats. Boing. Just kidding. Um, so, when you're a comic on stage, you hear everything. You're just like, at least I do. I'm a fucking coyote. Like, I hear glasses in the kitchen. I hear comics talking in the back. It's just, I'm like the bionic man. I hear everything. So I guarantee you, he heard the hecklers up top, because the Laugh Factory, it's a regular comedy club setup. You're very high above the crowd. That's why I've never really liked the Laugh Factory. The stage, you're towering over the crowd. And then there's a balcony upstairs when, someone like Michael Richards is playing, it's full. And I guarantee you these two guys were heckling him. And the rest of the crowd, when you're an audience member at a comedy club, you're not really trained to listen to anything else but the comic on stage. So a comic can be getting heckled, and most of the crowd doesn't hear it because they've tuned out all the white noise but the comic with the mic. So I think Michael Richards' biggest problem was he started ripping on these guys, and the crowd thought he was just attacking them. So we're talking about Michael Richards' set at the Laugh Factory. And then, he said the N-word a few times. Not good. But I think people would have forgiven him for that. Hey, we all make mistakes. He just got hyped up. But it was I think he said something to the effect of, you guys are looking like monkeys hanging from a tree or something. That's the line that, like, because that just didn't roll off the tip of his tongue. That was in his head and probably sadly in his heart. So I think that's what got him. Yes, we're talking hockey, 80s movies, comedy, the usual, no Dabbleverse questions as of yet. I think it's because I make people pay for those. So my strategy is working. See, Sour Milk gets the comedy club references. Talked about the 8. Now, I have never done Passover Seder at Dice's. To be honest with you, I've never been invited. Kevin, hold on. Kevin, I believe you're new to the stream. I believe you are new to the stream. But when you super chat daddy, you get something after I read the super chat. Kevin Barry, $5. Is there a ticking comedy clock for comedians? A tipping point from Salty Dog veteran to That's Just Sad? Thank you, Kevin Barry. Um, I mean, it's an interesting time right now in comedy. Like, and I hate to give the show credit. You guys know my history with it, but Roast Battle really brought back inappropriate, politically incorrect comedy. But now, it's tough with the Me Too and the Times Up movement. I think that really kind of, and obviously, I'm glad that stuff happened and was brought to light. But I think people are scared of getting canceled. But it depends who you are. Like, it's hard to cancel me because what are you gonna take from me? My stream? Boulder Johnny 007 $2. Do you miss the Bush shots from the 80s movies? George Bush? Not really. I never really liked him acting. Um, other comics and I'm dying up here based on real people. Yeah, loosely. It's kind of like how Mitzi Shore was kind of played by Melissa Leo, but I'm sure for legal reasons. I always thought Andrew Santino was kind of playing a loosely, Bill Hicks meets David Letterman character. I mean, I of course was the great Al Sims. I'm not sure. I was just playing any number of horny comics late night. Um, and funny enough, I was so well liked on the show. Like I wasn't on the show that much, but I was on it enough to say I was in it. That the writer of the show, Dave Flabat, who is writing Stallone's Tulsa King, I believe, um, Dave was like, "Hey man, everyone loves you on this show, and I just want you to know I wrote you a scene where Ari Grainer's character Cassie is so desperate she fucks you, but the network passed on it because they didn't want her being passed around like that." And I was like, "Well, that's exactly how female comics were treated." Like, and it would have been funny. Like, she's so lonely and desperate, she fucks me. Hello. So thank you, Dave Flabat. Support Tulsa King. Hi, Earl. Will you be watching AEW on the same night as Saturday WrestleMania? I'm not sure. It sucks. It's too hard for me to do wrestling streams just because I think the majority of people in my stream they don't really care that much about wrestling to do a live watch. Was Brad Garrett and Ron Shack based on real people? I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, I think because of potential lawsuits that, um, like, there was a lot of creative dabbling, pardon the pun, of, okay, we can have Johnny Carson on the show, and we can have Goldie kind of be Mitzi, but we can't be, So I think obviously the prior was I'm sure the Showtime got permission from his estate, uh, so we'll see. Now, if I don't go to Sting's final match, and I'm looking at plane tickets, not right now, but they're kind of expensive. I could get a free ticket to the event, but if I don't go to Sting's final match, I might do a live commentary of the pay-per-view. I started with Whitney Cummings, SC Bid Show. We used to do an outdoor patio show on Friday and Saturday nights called the Sportsman's Lodge, which I believe now is a Equinox, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I probably should have done a live stream tonight with the Kings Oilers, but that is such a specific um, uh, theme that I don't know if a lot of people would like it, to be honest with you. Um, Where are you from, Sour Milk? I might be able to suggest some things for you to watch. Yeah, I mean, like I said, my stream is essentially. I mean, I know a lot of people from the Dabbleverse come in here, which I love, but I don't really talk about the Dabbleverse. I mean, I know my numbers would probably be 10 times what they are now, but I'm okay with that. Like 36 people in here. Do I wish there was 336 people? Yes. Uh, and I'm sure if I just started roasting other people, that's what a lot of people want. But I don't do online roasting, man. If I got something bad to say to you, I'll say it to your face. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm dying up here. I'm not sure why it didn't do better. I mean, the cast was amazing. I mean, Jake Lacey, who's one of the most in-demand young actors out there, was awesome. Clark Duke is amazing. Michael Argano, another in-demand actor. Um, obviously Melissa Leo. To see her at a table read was like an acting. It was like a free acting lesson. Like, she literally wouldn't look at her script, she would look at you. So if she had a line to Al Sims, she would look at me. Like me, I'm trying to read my one line and not fuck it up, so I'm looking at my, "Hey, we're still getting our free gruel, right?" By the way, that killed. That might be the biggest laugh I've ever gotten. So it's the last episode, season 2 of I'm Dying Up Here, and people they knew it was gonna be the last episode. The ratings just didn't catch, for whatever reason. I still don't understand why. I mean, Alfred Molina was a guest star, Andy Kindler, with the legend of Rick Overton, um, just so many, great, Dom Herrera, like, comedy legends, but, so the mood was kinda down at the table read just 'cause, we'd all put in so much work on this show, and just, for whatever reason, it never fully caught on, and, I can't say Showtime didn't put us in a good position because I think the first year we followed Twin Peaks, which was a popular show, and then the second year we followed Ray Donovan at the peak of its show, and Melissa Leo won an Oscar, and all the comic. Look at the comics who were in it. Santino's a great comic. Al Madrigal's a great comic. Eric Griffin's a great comic. R.J. Seiler's a great young black actor. Ari Grainer's like an amazing actress. And so I mean, literally, Dylan Baker who played Johnny Carson was fucking like he's Dylan Baker. He's like in everything. Um, and it just I don't know, it's just like one of those things, and I think the writing was getting better because I think season 1, it was just trying to survive because, there was a lot of pressure on the writers and producers, because it was a Jim Carrey, Jim Carrey brought a lot of eyes onto the show, and then, um, you know, season 2, I think they found their sea legs, but it was too late. What known comedian have you seen bomb the worst in all your years doing comedy? I've seen them all bomb. I've bombed. The Comedy Store is no joke. It's a very it has a dark energy. So I've seen Chris Rock bomb trying new material. I've seen Attell bomb trying new material. It's usually when they're trying new material, and they're not announced on the lineup. They just want to show up on the kind of on the DL. So I never watched any of those shows, SC Vid Show. Um, well, also, I think with Showtime, I think the billboard was confusing. Now, I'm not, we know you from the Chad versus Ray Rose. Thank you, John Doe. Thank you. I mean, I'll take it. Uh, oh, okay, Sour Milk. Well, I mean, the Dallas Stars have a very good team this year. So, and I believe uh, the Houston Aeros are still in Texas. The Arizona Coyotes have a very good young team, but they play in a college arena. If I'm ever in Scottsdale, Sour Milk, let me take care of you. Um, so everyone bombs at the Comedy Store. Like, I've seen, I mean, not the other night, maybe about 3 weeks ago on the main room Saturday night, the crowd, I never blame the crowd. Because I think if you're really funny, you can win over any crowd. but every single comic on the lineup bombed, myself included. And I'm trying every joke I know that works, and nothing. Is Danish still doing stand-up? I believe he is, or it sucks, but I don't know how often or whatnot. I'm too busy trying to think of my own shit. Uh, we are at the hour mark. We'll probably do another 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Let me thank the tippers. I like to make sure the tippers feel appreciated. Kevin Barry, new to the stream. Thank you very much. And the usual king of streams, Boulder Johnny 007, my friend for a very long time. I've seen one comic bomb so badly at the La Jolla Comedy Store in the green room after she was crying. Um, I mean, well, it depends who's doing it or sucks. Um, well, not most, but a lot of comics do crowd work because they have no material. So that's when I think people have a problem with comics who do crowd work. It's like, I want to hear a joke, dude, or woman. But because Matt Rife blew up recently, basically on the strength of his crowd work videos, now every comic has a crowd work video. I mean, I watched one last night that was fucking horrible. But I understood what the girl was, and it's not just because it was a girl. There's just a lot of unfunny dudes out there. But um, I mean, I'm not a fan of William Montgomery, but like, hey, if you think he's funny, I mean, and I know him, like, to me, and I'm honest when I take comedy very seriously. So when I say something, there's no beef behind it. Um, I mean, I think William's funny for 5 minutes, and then it's like, okay, there's no way I could listen to that for 40 minutes. But he's got a lot of fans who Kill Tony, and but Kill Tony and Roast Battle as well. They teach comedy in kind of short form. So 1-2 minutes, and so these kids get a following, and then they're asked to headline a club because the club, well, if they have 60,000 followers, all the Kill Tony crowd will come, and then that doesn't happen, and then they're stuck with some comic who's got maybe 10 minutes trying to do 45 doing crowd work. Like, that's where I think people have a problem. I've seen it happen with roast battle comics too, where they, I did a show recently with a person who's very popular on roast battle, and I went first. I did 20 minutes, and I wasn't killing, but I did very good. And about 15 minutes into the set, I knew that I had won the crowd over. I mean, like, they liked me from the start, but I knew at 15-minute mark I could do no wrong with this crowd. So I started roasting a little bit, and it went over very well. The roast battle comic goes on after me. They're doing 8 minutes, and we've all had sets like this, but they started bombing right away. Just, they got nothing. And then they started shitting on the crowd, like roasting the crowd, and that went even worse. So they came back afterwards, and I could tell they were bummed out. And I try and help people, like, which is why I was never really a good judge on Kill Tony, because I would actually try and give people advice. Like, I wouldn't roast them. I'm not going to roast an open micer who's not capable of hitting me back. So I said, you can't roast the crowd when you're not, like, when your stand-up's bombing, you can't roast the crowd. They're going to turn on you because they've already turned on you. And they were like, well, you did it. I'm like, yeah, but I did it after I was doing well for 15 minutes. Not killing, but I was doing well. So, with a lot of these Kill Tony comics, they're shown doing 1-minute clips, and, they're getting laughs because Tony's making fun of them, or, whoever. It's one thing to go through that, but do 45 minutes? You got to have some jokes, man. Do you ever get dry mouth on stage? Not really. Well, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's yeah, Russell Peters is by far and away the greatest guy in comedy. Um, I mean, that's with a lot of things. So, like, another example is you saw the David Lucas when he did the George Floyd joke in front of a non-kill Tony roast battle crowd, and I think 3/4 of the crowd got up and walked out. Um, that joke, pardon the pun, kills on Kill Tony. If he did that joke tonight, it gets an applause break. If he did that joke on roast battle, gets an applause break. But when you're at a comedy club crowd and they're not really there for the shock humor of roast battle or Kill Tony, they're going to turn on you a lot quicker than a roast battle or Kill Tony crowd. So, um, it's a very interesting thing now because comedy clubs, I think they're all kind of wising up to that. So you see someone from roast battle or Kill Tony with 50 to 100,000 followers, you think, let's book them, man. Let's headline them. And then they headline them and they're stumbling. I've known cases of comics from both shows being asked to headline, and they're doing so bad, the second show, they flip it and they have the headliner feature for the feature, who was the funnier of the two. So it's an interesting dilemma, because you could be popular on a podcast or roast battle or Kill Tony, but those are free shows to watch. Like this stream. You guys are all over the country. We might have a few Canadians or whatever. And it's free. I mean, outside of if you guys super chat. But even if you super chat me, it's still free for you guys to watch. Okay, Earl's going live at 4 p.m. You could be in your underwear, hit live. But it's another thing for me to try. There's 36 people in here to say, hey, you 36 people, I'm at the Comedy Store Saturday night. You got to pay for parking, 2-drink minimum. Now I'll take care of the tickets, so that's free. But a lot of people who don't know me have to pay, 2 tickets, $40 each or whatever it is. You probably went to dinner before that. So it's a lot of money to go to a comedy club. So some of you might just go, I don't want to see Earl at a comedy club. This stream's good enough for me. Hey, Earl, here's $2. I don't know if he apologized for the joke, but the joke didn't do well. But my whole point was, who said that about William? Boulder Johnny was like, William's protected because he's never not in front of his fan base. That was my point about David, was he was in a comedy club that not necessarily was his fan base. They were just like, oh, who's this guy, David Lucas? Let's go pay. He's a headliner. He's got to be good. And, the one joke didn't do well. Because, when I was on Roast Battle, obviously after the TV show, I got asked to headline a lot. As soon as, it's the same, it's the Kill Tony Roast Battle effect. Oh, he's on TV. Let's headline him. But I had been doing comedy for, I think, 15 years at that point. So I had the time, to cover. And, I'm not saying it was all killer material, but like I could do an hour in 2015 pretty easily. We're just talking about Roast Battle and Kill Tony and how some comics don't do well, from either show because they don't have the time. No shade towards anyone, but it's like Last Comic Standing. Same thing happened to a lot of comics that did Last Comic Standing. You have to. Oh man, you just bummed me out, random guy. But let me finish my thought on Last Comic Standing. We'll get to that. Last Comic Standing would show comedy in like 2-minute chunks. Maybe even 1-minute chunks. So then you're on TV, you're on NBC. It's a huge network. Clubs reach out to comics who are on TV doing 1 minute of comedy, and it's the same thing. Then they're asked to do 45 minutes to an hour. And it's not just, can you do 45 minutes to an hour of jokes? It's, can they be funny? Like I had to go and do a little under an hour Saturday night in the main room. And I'm following 7 to 8 headlining funny comics. George Perez killing, Ally Mack killing, so it's not just standing up there for an hour. Um, well, rest in peace, Ole Anderson. He's definitely like he was old when he was in the Horseman. Like, hello, Secret Snake. We're gonna do about 15 more minutes, and then I have to prepare for the King game. And thank you, Gina, for um, all the promotional work. But well, I mean, Voss was already an established stand-up, though. Like, you take a lot of these shows, Roast Battle and Kill Tony specifically. The comics on it are younger. So, um, like if you watch Kill Tony tonight, uh, I would say most of the comics are maybe 2 years and under. Um, so they don't have the time. But if you're popular on the show, you're good on the show, like a Hans Kim or William or David. You're going to get headlining gigs, and whether you can do them or not, that you're going to find out real fast. No, I am not a crook. Usually I charge for impressions, but since you're a good person, Luna, I am not a crook. Earl, did you ever cross paths with Ron Jeremy? Yeah, at the Comedy Store a couple times. He's a fucking creep, uh, and a rapist, and he also had narcolepsy, so he would fall asleep in the back. That always made me feel good. SCV bid show. Earl, for your stand back, how dirty is your humor on a scale of 1 to 10? I mean, it's rotating. I can be a 10, I could be a 2. Depends on the crowd and the situation. Like if I'm doing a corporate gig, it's crystal clean, unless they want it dirty. Like I did a corporate gig the other night where they're like, "We want you to roast our boss and go hard." And I used language that I probably wouldn't in a regular set. But with what I got paid, I did whatever they told. Let me see. Do you respect prop comics and magicians? Fuck yeah, I do. Comedy's comedy, man. I have a very black and white take on prop comedy. It's like if you're getting laughs, you're getting laughs, so it's funny. I mean, is Carrot Top George Carlin? No, but he doesn't have to be. I've been to Tijuana once. It's completely disgusting, and her name was Jennifer. Pew! Well, I mean, time, it depends what you do. Like, I know plenty of comics who never got better and they did comedy for 10 plus years. But if you're always working on your act, you can do more jokes. And if you're writing quality material, you can go from doing 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes. It's a progression to an hour. Um, and, you could sprinkle it in with a little bit of crowd work, but, um, it depends on the individual comic. Like if you're lazy and you just do the same set, over and over and over again, you know, you're never going to get past say the 15-minute mark. But when I started out, my first couple years, I maybe had in 7 years, I maybe had a good 15 minutes like that I thought was good. And then when I took it like incredibly seriously, I almost improved month to month. I did not give Shuli my glasses. I'm trying to read most of the questions. Uh, oh, is Cam Newton dead too, or what happened to Cam Newton? I mean, I'm bummed out about Ole Anderson. These guys. Mama, truly love you, Earl Skakel. Thank you. I love all of the people in chat. Um, we're small army. Yes, if you look up Earl Skakel on YouTube, a lot of clips come up. Probably the best representation if you want to see me killing for a rarity on YouTube. If you go, let me type it in here. Hold on. Let me, let's see here. I'll do a little type here. If you look up, hold on. See, I don't have a producer, so I got to do this on my own. If you look up Shane Doan roast, I killed it. I do. Hold on. That last cookie was so bad, I can't even eat this. I mean, these things are fucking disgusting, man. The cookie dealer. Now, um, if you want a good, I'll do an impromptu. I won't eat on camera, but this is good. The caramel and cashew barbells. Yeah, I mean that Shane Doan roast was me killing it from the second I got on stage to the second I left. And it was mostly prepared material. And then when I said, "Hey, thanks for dressing up," to the guy in the jean outfit, that was Tyson Nash, legendary agitator for the St. Louis Blues. Um, I mean, that was one of the um, highlights of my. What happened to Cam Newton? Let me. I don't have an Adam Henniker here, so I've got to now just look up Cam Newton. Um, Coaches involved in Cam Newton fight. Oh, did he fight? How are they fighting? I thought it was. I thought it was. Oh, he got into a fight with youth football. Oh, okay. Well, he must have some free time on his hands. Oh, really? I'll have to look. I don't want to watch it now. See, I don't even know how to put it on my screen and watch it with you guys. But I don't stream snipe. This is a non-stream sniping channel. I'm more upset about Ole Anderson dying. Rest in peace. Original Four Horsemen. Um, he never really looked healthy, to be honest with you. But 81 years old, man. What a bummer. I mean, that's now four fucking people um, who have died in the last week that are like from my childhood. Um, Fought three kids. What up, Steven Chavez? He got jumped by kids. Some of those kids, man, probably had weapons. Uh, yeah, but you never know, though, dude. I got choked out by a cop once playing hockey, and I didn't know he was a cop. So like, some of these kids, probably could kick his ass, but hopefully not. All right, I'm just looking up some more info on Ole Anderson. Let me just do a quick RIP message on my Instagram. If you want to follow me on my Instagram, I think it's pretty easy to follow me. I'm literally at Earl Skakel everywhere. Hold on. You know what time it is? ACDC 5150, $4.99. Why did Rick Moranis in the Wildlife movie keep hitting on Tom Grace's woman? Sexual harassment in the workplace. F Compound Media, Bobby Tamburo. I really do look like Roderick Strong with these glasses on and my hairline. I got most of my hair. Thank you, ACDC 5150. See, I've done an hour and 18 minutes. I've gotten 3 super chats. I don't panhandle for money on here. And thank you to Kevin Brennan for promoting this stream. I know he brought me a few people. See, that's how it should be. Like Kevin has 1,000 people in his chat. And he said, "Hey, man, I'm going to end. Go to Earl's." Probably got me 5 to 10 more people in here. So I appreciate that. That's how it should work. Everyone helps everyone. Watch Pat Dixon tonight. See, that took me nothing to say. Why did Rick Moranis' hair keep changing in the Wildlife? I think it was a low budget production. And yeah, it's completely right, ACDC 5150. I mean, Rick Moranis was a real creeper, but not as creepy as Hart Bachner as David the cop. What a horny bastard. Of course, he later, I think 2 years later, would be Ellis from the movie Die Hard. Yes, Rick Moranis was in my favorite guilty pleasure 80s movie, 1984's The Wildlife, a loose sequel of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Same director, I believe. Sean Penn's brother, Chris Penn, playing Tom Drake, friend of the community. Great cast: Eric Stoltz, Leah Thompson, Robert Ridgely, the Colonel from Boogie Nights, Kevin Peter Hall, the Predator, strip club bouncer, comedy store paid regular, Angel Salazar, Michael Bowen, the bad guy from Valley Girl, Lee Ving for you punk fans from the band Fear, for you Rolling Stone fans, Ron Wood. But the movie didn't. Oh my god, I'm sorry about that. This is carbonated. My bad. My bad. My bad. I should super chat everyone $1 for that. Hey, speaking of super chats, Mike Johnson, $4.99. Any Total Recall or RoboCop impressions? Well, Mike, because you paid $5 for that, I'm going to do this. Now, I really shouldn't. But Mike, if you're watching right now, this is specifically for Mike Johnson. See, this is what happens when you super chat. You get individual treatment. So, Mike Johnson, I want you. Tony Moss died too? No, that guy didn't die yet. I'll be devastated if Tony Moss died. It's Alan Rasheen. Mike, I want you to close your eyes, Mike. I'm not going to do this, Mike, till you close your eyes. Now, obviously, you have to type, Earl, I've closed my eyes. And then I'm going to tell you when to open them. So at the sound of my... So, Mike, let me know that your eyes are closed. Until then, all right. Don't open them until I say so. You asked for a RoboCop impression. Hold on. Mike Johnson, do not open your eyes. Okay, Mike, open your eyes. Move it, creep. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. Thank you very much. Hold on. I should have never taken this doll. Open your eyes, Mike. Open your eyes. Now, how many wrestling fans do we have in the chat? Do we have any wrestling fans? Oh, yes. What'd he call us? Bitches, leave. Hey, Bobby. Because you gave me 5 hooves for that, I'll do a bonus impression of Kurtwood Smith and Miguel Ferrer and the 2 whores. And action. Hey, Bobby, you gonna call us? Bitches, leave. What'd he call us? It's a quick impression. No one asked for this impression, but here's a quick impression of Akeem, the African Dream. You know, my brother. All right, we got any last minute? Oh my God. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is the biggest super chat an inappropriate Earl. It's not really inappropriate Earl. Stream. Random guy. 1999. It's for Lois. Get the lady of your life a treat or toy. Sorry if I brought the chat down telling you about Oli. And you get the special because she's bittersweet. She knocks me off of my feet. And I can't help sell what don't want anyone else. She's a mystery. She's too much for me. But I keep coming back for more. She's just the girl I'm looking for. She can't keep a secret for more than an hour. Do 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 do. She runs on 100 proof attitude power. Do 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 do. And the more she ignores me, the more I adore her. See, if you donate that kind of cash, you get a little click 5 bonus. Bonus. Thank you very much, random guy. You did not have to. Let me see if Lois is up right now. She might need to make an appearance for that. Lois is passed out. So thank you very much, random guy. Um, you didn't you were just reporting the news. Yeah, if you have any heat dialogue, I mean Dr. Nova, you got to that's a specific request. Now I've seen heat 1,000 times. Hmm, okay. Don't waste my motherfucking time. Hey, this slick is no joke. Say what? Say what? The man calls himself Slick. He's a big fiend for action. Now, if he would have said nothing, I would have thought nothing. His name's Michael Chirino, about 6'4", a lot of jailhouse tats. I mean, you really should have paid for that. But I know you're a loyal fan. No, Ogie Oglethorpe did not die. Uh, Paul D'Amato died, and he played the character of Tim Dr. Hook McCracken. He's the one who walked up to Paul Newman in the hallway of the arena, said, "Hey, Dunlop, you suck cock." And Paul Newman was like, "All I can get." Yeah, I mean, it might not be word for word, but now I need to know what you're gonna do. I could get killed for telling you this, but let's just say there happens to be a chop shop on Vermont with a couple 911 slopes, something like that. Is Bobby Heenan the most versatile man? And he's definitely the funniest man. Hold on, I see some crosstalk in chat. I'm not sure what's going on, but you guys can. Uh, you guys can. Crosstalk. I guess. I'm not sure what you're cross talking about, but I'm still blown away by the great random guy. Um, Thank you very much. I appreciate any tip. You know what? While we're speaking of tipping, let's thank the Warriors. Kevin Barry, thank you. Boulder Johnny 007, my longtime friend. ACDC 5150, my longtime friend. Mike Johnson and Random Guy. Like the great William Zoom said, I will never beg you guys for money, honey. But think of me as a bartender. You like what you see, you tip. So, all right, well, I'm going to make you guys both moderators. So you guys behave yourselves. And all right. So I now have 2 moderators. And that's Gina Babina and Kip Smith. I don't know if you guys like each other or not. This seems to be like a Dabbleverse related feud or whatever. Please get along in this stream. That's all. I don't ask you guys for much, but I can't have moderators feuding. Okay, cool. And listen, my stream is pretty hard to get blocked in or, whatever. Just I'm not. You don't have to agree with everything I say. I don't have to agree with everything you say. But let's just keep it nice and light in here, and it's a friendly stream, and that's all. 5:30. We'll go for another, let's say we'll go for another 15 minutes. So we'll do an hour and 45 stream tonight. Then I have to walk Lois, have to go buy a Powerball ticket just in case. I'm feeling it right now. I'm feeling lucky punk. Uh and then if I win the Powerball, I don't want super chats. How would you like that? I'll do a 7-hour stream and I'll refund your super chats if you send me one. But that's only if I win the Powerball. Tony Khan stinks. I don't know really. Well, it's gonna be, I think a very good run right now for AEW because this Wednesday is the last Dynamite before Sting's final match, so I think that'll be good. Will Ospreay is gonna be on the card as well, and Kazusuke Okada is, I think, officially signed in AEW, and then March 13th in Boston, excuse me. I believe Mercedes Monet, aka Sasha Banks, is making her debut in Boston, her hometown. So that'll be a fucking hot crowd. Um, so I can't wait. So and I think Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker are coming back. So it's a good. I think potentially, and I know WWE just hired, or I'm sorry, AEW just hired a specific writer for Mercedes Monet, which I think is going to be key. Um, personally, I think her first two feuds should be obviously Tony Storm and then Julia Hart. Um, so, I mean, it's going to be interesting. AEW hasn't always handled people right when they've signed them. Like, I don't know what they're doing with Jay White, having him in 12 fucking people tag matches. That guy's a solo star. He should be battling for the heavyweight title. Um, and they've botched Wardlow several times. So Don Callis has won me over. I've reached out to certain people in AEW saying, "Hey, man, give me a shot as a manager." And I would love to cut a heel promo because I know how to draw heat, and I've got the comedy timing that no other wrestling manager has. But I wouldn't hold my breath on seeing me on AEW TV. Uh, but I would love to be. If like Wardlow isn't great on the mic. He's not horrible, but he's not great. Yeah, Miro. That's they have him in a match with Andrade. Andrade was leaving, so he wins. Him and Lana are great together. Obviously, they're husband and wife. And then he hasn't been on TV for a month. Like, what is going on here? So with Miro or the Kingdom, I think, that there is a golden opportunity for someone to fuck over Sting in the match and have him lose. And they do say you go out on your back. So Sting would probably be open to losing and putting someone over. But can you imagine the heat Miro would have if he cost Sting the match or Ospreay? Now Ospreay's already got heat, but he'd have a lot more if he fucked over Sting, in my opinion. Um, so it's going to be interesting. I would love to do an angle with Wayne's mom. Her legs used as earrings. Hello. I like Nick Wayne. He's got a lot of potential. Um, Christian. He's a great character. I mean, the dad stuff's getting a little old. I noticed he went to that on Daniel Garcia, but it was still pretty funny. And Luchasaurus, they kind of tease him turning on Christian or kill switch. But um, it'll be interesting. Guys, I hate to do this, but I have to go pee pee real fast. So think of some good questions. You got 30 seconds. Buddy. I've seen some badass bush before, but that made Cambodia look like Kansas. Sorry about that, guys. Hey, at least I'm honest. Ever heard of a band called TWRP? I think you'd like the 80s vibe. I have not. That was no hype train. I just had to go to the bathroom. Uh, no, Dr. Nova. It's called drinking 4 of these a day. Uh, yeah, I don't do hype trains. Well, uh, I sing a little bit on here, and yes, Preparation H is in my cabinet, but only for guests. Hello. I've always wanted to be a gay wrestler and call me Preparation Triple H. Pew! Um, so sorry about that, guys. I try not to leave the stream, but if you super chat over $19, you not only get the ray gun, but you get a little bit of the Click 5 song, Just the Girl. I like to reward my tippers. We'll go for another 10 minutes. 10 minutes left in the period. 10 minutes left in the first period. Ari Shafir brags about the blood on his toilet paper. Well, we all have a cross to bear in life. I'm on roids, hemorrhoids. Hello. So yeah, sorry I had to leave the stream for a minute. I'm 55. I got to go to the bathroom more than I had to back in the dizzy. But this has been a fun stream. I really think my new streaming time outside of Sunday nights is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 p.m. And maybe we'll do a Tuesday and Thursday stream. I'm not going to stream 7 days a week. I just, I want you guys to want more. Some podcasts I listen to, it's like, Jesus, man, when is this going to end? I mean, I'm still listening, but I checked out about 20 minutes ago. Yes, that's 4 p.m. my time. I'm in Los Angeles, for those of you who don't know. And once again, thank you to a random guy for breaking news, Arn Anderson. Not Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson. Ole Anderson and OG Four Horsemen. Part of one of my favorite angles ever when the Horsemen were fighting Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff turned face and helped Dusty Rhodes beat. Well, let me check my Instagram. Kate Meany has not contacted me. I don't know why she would. I used to go to high school with the drummer from Jane's Addiction, the great Stephen Perkins. We didn't really know each other. Notre Dame High has a lot of celebrities. I never really realized it. Rami Malek, Tim Foley, Jack McDowell, Cy Young Award winner, that one really good baseball. Giancarlo Stanton. Who else? Me, I think. A lot of other, pretty big celebrities. I mean, for a high school that's not necessarily known for celebrities, Justin Fargas, who played on the Raiders. His dad was Antonio Fargas, in one of the great guilty pleasure movies of all time that I have, Up the Academy. When we started the stream, we were talking about the kid with the bowl cut from My Bodyguard, the Arab kid in Up the Academy. I thought was funnier than Ralph Macchio. And I believe, like the kid in My Bodyguard, the Arab kid, Tom something in Up the Academy, never acted again. And the fat guy was funny in Up the Academy. I don't think I ever saw him in anything either again. He had a great line when he had to take a dump. He's like, I feel a song coming on. I've used that one a few times. But I've never seen Jane's Addiction. I was never I'm not a hater of theirs. I was never really a big fan of theirs. Yes, Dave Navarro, I used to take spin class with at Crunch. You could literally smell the amount of pussy this guy got. Like, He's what they call in the comedy business a real coxman. Thank you very much. All right, we got 5 more minutes for any questions, concerns, chats. I'd like to welcome our newest moderator, Kip Smith, Gina Bobina. If you have any complaints, take them up with management. LeBron wants $60 million a year to stay in LA. Well, I mean, they're not winning with him. So if it's me, I tell him, beat it. The Lakers got to rebuild, man. You just can't keep trading number one picks and number one picks and number one picks. I mean, just at some point you got to rebuild. The management is Kip Smith and Gina Bobina, the moderating management. That is. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't even know what moderators do, but LeBron. Well, I mean, the Lakers have had a good run, but at some point you have to rebuild. The Kings, the hockey team, they held on to Jonathan Quick, Dustin Brown, Alex Martinez, all these great players that won them 2 Stanley Cups, but they held on to them for probably a little too long, and then it hurts your team, and it sucks because I'm a very loyal person. Like I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, and in 1983, maybe the greatest quarterback draft class ever, the Steelers could have drafted hometown hero Dan Marino, but they were loyal to Terry Bradshaw because he had won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years in the 70s. But it had been 5 years since his last Super Bowl, but they didn't want to hurt his feelings. So instead of drafting the next franchise quarterback, they drafted, I think, defensive lineman Gabriel Rivera, who was a very good player, but like he ain't Dan Marino. So that it's just tough, when you're loyal and pro sports. That's why I never have a problem with players leaving. Like free agents, like Rob Blake when he went to Colorado. He's a little late to the party, but better late than never. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, the king of the $2 super chat. Is that guy still making money from Brody shirts? I'm not sure, but he can get you a large real fast. I'm just kidding. I believe you were talking about my friend Eric Aligny, Tampa-based stand-up comic. I do not sleep naked. I do sleep in my underwear in case any shrapnel falls out. I mean, I don't think. He's probably made a lot of money already. So, I mean, I wouldn't say I don't think he cares for money. Uh, I think he wants to win. I mean, I don't. I think if he uh, didn't care about money, he'd just stay with the Angels. But he wants to win. I get it. Mike Trout wants to win. Mike Trout's dying to get out of Anaheim, and it sucks. And a lot of people are making a big deal about the Angels not re-signing Ohtani, but it's like they weren't winning with him. It's not to say, obviously he's the best player, pitcher and hitter, arguably the hitting part, with Mike Trout. But, it's like, talking about LeBron wants $60 million. The Lakers aren't winning with him. So, trade him. You'd probably get a number one pick for LeBron. He's got to play another year or two. And then your number one pick's like rocking and rolling. So, I don't think we really appreciate Shohei Ohtani. Like, it's unprecedented that it's since Babe Ruth that the best player in the game is both the best pitcher and hitter. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, it's really, I think, when we're all older and in 10 years, 15 years, we're going to look back at Ohtani and go, man, we didn't realize how good this guy was. Yes, Don Barris does make me laugh. Well, he's old for an NBA player, so I don't even look at it as him aging out. He's just, Father Time waits for nobody. Mike Trout is definitely going to start getting injury prone more. I mean, Max Bringle, I believe you're new. Otani's just like he really is a unicorn. Like now, his arm injury, it's going to be interesting. But even if he never pitches again, which he probably will, he's still the best player in the game right now, like the best hitter. Um, so hopefully, I know there are some, free agents left out there for the Angels to get, but like I don't, the Cy Young National League winner, I think is available. I mean, I agree. Well, hold on. I want to try and do these in order. By the way, the Dodgers signed Yakamoto and Otani. So I don't know if they're going to be good or not, but they're going to lead the league in small dicks. Hello. Better Armenian comic, Tripoli or Sam the Armenian. Rest in peace, Sam the Armenian. I'll go with Tripoli. Yeah, I mean, I mean, listen, you're going to make so much money in season ticket sales and booze at the arena. Uh, and jersey sales, and so the risk is probably worth it. But yeah, 2 surgeries on the arm already. I mean, I got to be honest with you, man. I'd say, listen, if you want to pitch like under 10 times a year, we'll do that. But if you hurt your arm again, you can't hit, you can't pitch. It's a lot of money on the line. So I mean, now he strikes me. He's pretty young, so his recovering process is probably better than most. But like if LeBron tears an Achilles, he's done. Otani's pretty young, so I think that although they probably lie about his age coming over, but um, it's going to be interesting how they. I mean, that is a $750 million arm. Like it's tough because internally the Dodgers are like, hey, we want what we paid for, but you don't want to fucking rush them and hurt them. And then yes, that I mean that stadium's gonna be sold out anyway, but Otani's your opening day starter, like that's standing room only. uh I don't follow basketball that much, Melendez, to be honest with you, so I'll take your word on that. I only know a little bit about LeBron just because I'm an LA guy. Could you beat Nyla Rose in an actual fight? Probably not, to be honest with you. I got no shame in saying I'd lose to a woman. Like she's a big broad. Pitchers get out of rhythm. Oh, 100% Grimace. But I was just saying that, you know, I mean, if you pitch them regularly, that's it's risky. But you are right. They do get out of practice, but you know, oh boy, that's a tough one, man. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, 2 surgeries on the arm already. It's each year you get older, even if you're young, your body is more susceptible to breaking down. So, I mean, they're not breaking any rules, Max. So, I mean, I think if they win less than 100 games, it's disappointing. And like you said, you're probably right. They should win about 115 games. Uh, well, the Dodgers better hope he has 7 more years. But who knows? Who talks more about their moms, Pauly Shore or Joe Coy? I don't listen to Joe Coy, so I don't know. I'll go with Pauly. Joe Coy's not a Comedy Store guy. He used to show up with Dalia every now and then, but I rarely see him at the Comedy Store. I mean, he doesn't need the Comedy Store. He just sold out, I think, the Forum 6 times. That's crazy. I didn't know he was that big. That's why I want to do this stream. I want to sell out, I don't know, the belly room with you guys all coming in. Imagine if all you guys came to LA for a show. We just turn it up, bitch. So I hope that answers your question. The Dosters. Maybe that's a new Korean team. We're gonna do. All right, we'll go to 2 hours. I did not plan on going this long. So you got 10 more minutes to. We can talk about baseball, although I'm not a huge baseball guy. I'm hockey for life, and we got a half hour. Well, we got 40 minutes right now to the Los Angeles Kings take on the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton, Alberta. So, random guy, you got an update on your special? Yeah, I do actually. We have cut a long form commercial that will be airing on YouTube at some point. Hopefully this week, definitely within the next 2 weeks. We still don't have a location, to be honest with you. I had a location in Venice locked up, but my contact went AWOL on me. And I don't want to do it just at a theater. Like that would just look like every other fucking special. I want the location to be special. I want the special to be special. And if we have to wait 10 more years, we'll wait 10 more years. But hopefully by summer, it's out. Why go watch Joe Coy when you can see Edward San Juan? Yeah, Edward San Juan is someone I highly recommend. You enjoyed this show, Melendez? Thank you very much. They're up and down, Max, to be honest with you. First 30 games of the season, I think they were 27-3. And then they hit a stretch where they won 5 games in 19, and now they've won 4 out of 5. So they're very up and down. I mean, tonight's a big game because the whole reason they got PL Dubois was to have a 3-tiered center attack against McDavid, where you have Kopitar, Deneau, and Dubois, and you just roll the lines. J-Man Jack, $10. Let me hear you holla. Hockey rules. Go Kings. Yes. The King. I mean, it's a big game. KB. I thought we were friends. Go Avs. Avs are a great team, and they'll probably do something at the deadline. Maybe get Eberle's out there if the Kraken fall out. McKinnon's he's a fucking stud. And I will be meeting KB at Hackamania. I will be performing. Probably just going to do the stand-up shows. I don't really want to be involved in the fucking podcast and people talking shit about it. That's not my jam. But I am going for the shows. And I believe there might be a roast battle. I'm not roast battling, but I'll judge it. I think there's an open mic competition. I'd like to judge that. So it should be fun. Hackamania, get your tickets now. I believe there will be individual promo codes so you can help the comic you are there to see, make a few extra dollars or whatever. Listen to NLO podcast, Patrick Melton, and he will. I think he is talking about it on his stream. So, and I believe hackamania.com is the site for all questions and ticket buying abilities. If you're coming there to see me, just say, hey, right now I don't think there's a promo code for anyone. So just say, hey, I'm coming for Earl. I like Kevin Brennan, AC/DC. I mean, he definitely does it different than I do, but I understand why he does it like he does it. I mean, if you don't read regular questions, people are going to be jonesing. I want Earl to answer my question. Here's $5 or whatever. I don't do it that way. But, he's making a lot of money, certainly more than I am. So, but, I hear your point. And, I do think that, I also realize I'm late to the super chat party. Like, you guys, or not all you guys, but a lot of you guys come from the Dabbleverse, and so there's Steel Toe, there's MLC, there's NLO, there's Shuley, there's BYB, there's 1x2. So I'm like 10th in line for you guys to tip me or whatever, and that's why I talk about hockey and wrestling to get maybe some non-Dabbleverse people in here. So is Johnny Zapp still alive? I will be a sad man when the Z-Man, the original Z-Man, the Zap attack dies. Your thoughts on Ty Domi going into the stands? Well, actually, he didn't go into the stands. The fat guy went into the penalty box. Hey, listen, at that time, you don't know if guys have guns or knives. I'm glad he beat the shit out of the guy. He makes 250 grand a year on super chats, allegedly. I would believe that, to be honest with you. I mean, look, we've had a high, I think, tonight of 40 people in here. And before I go, we got 5 more minutes, guys. Let me thank the tippers one last time. We got Kevin Barry, Boulder Johnny, ACDC 5150, Mike Johnson, random guy with the super chat record for me, Peter Chicken Man Brennan, J Man Jack. Thank you guys very, very much. Um, Kevin has like, I don't know, 1,000 people. No, I take yoga Tuesday and Thursday nights. Well, I don't know if it's the best show in town, Birthday Boy Stab, man. It's different than the Dabbleverse like streams, but we all need a palate cleanser. So you guys after MLC or NLO or Shuley or Stuttering John or Steel Toe, you're sick of basically the online roast battles. You come in here and you talk about anything but the dabble, but we can talk about it. I'll probably ask him at some point, Kip. I mean, like I said, I'm not doing the streams for money. But hey, if you not that I want to cut YouTube out, I'm respectful. Like, hey, YouTube is allowing me the forum, so I don't mind cutting them in. Although I do, I mean, it doesn't matter if I mind or not. But I do think that 30% is a little high. I mean, I would say 20% would be a pretty nice cut for them. But it's their good night, Air Sucks. Thank you as always. It's their it's their playpen. I'm just following the rules, I suppose. But I do, uh, I know Melton definitely does the probably the most fiscally responsible method of getting YouTube out of the picture while still using YouTube. I will walk Lois several times tonight. Um, yes, the Skakel family is in the house always. Who has more bumping power at the store? Our Brennan brothers, Leslie Jones, or definitely Leslie Jones. I mean, when Leslie walks in, she goes on right away. I mean, I'm not a cheap person, so I do. Yeah, I mean, I mean, 15% is probably a little too low. So I would say anywhere between 15 and 20% would be fair. 30% is extravagant. Uh, so yes, we are all in the Earl army. You get the AI voices too. Well, I don't want to like mimic Melton's stream. It is. I took Bray Wyatt in Mitzi's office, and it was one of the most awesome fucking things ever. Like Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, the guy who was wrestled in front of 100,000 people. He was like a little kid in Mitzi's office. It's one of the great comedy store stories, just to have this super famous wrestler in Mitzi's office, afraid to touch anything. He was like a little kid. He's like, "Can I touch this?" Um, and it was really sad when he passed. I kind of figured something was wrong because when we took a picture, I asked someone to take a picture of me and Bray, and it was kind of dark. And Bray, he's such a fucking pro that he's like, "Let's go over there. There's better lighting." And that picture of me and Bray Wyatt, like when I put my arm around him, like he was breathing pretty heavy. So he was a good dude. I miss him. Like I only met him once, but like he gave me his phone number that night. He said, "Call me if you ever want to talk." Like who does that? So well, the Kiss Army is I was in a Kiss National Guard. Hello. See, that's one last joke for you guys. All right, we got 30 seconds for any last minute questions. And then I gotta walk Lois, and then I'm going off the grid to watch the LA Kings take on Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. As long as you're not a weirdo, Dr. Nova. Yes, I was in the Kiss Merchant Marines too. We got 10 seconds before any last minute questions. Fire them off, or we will do this probably Wednesday night around 4 p.m. We'll bleed into Dynamite. I bet you were grimacing pain. Hello. A nice 2-hour stream tonight. That's how you do it. The plugs, let me see. Well, yeah, Earl Skakel everywhere. At Earl Skakel everywhere. EarlSkakel. Was White supposed to do your podcast before he passed? Yeah, I probably should lie and say that. Um, and listen to Pat Dixon tonight. I believe he's on in 2 hours, 8 p.m. And listen to MLC, of course, usually 4, Shuli and Melton in the mornings. And, I think 4 p.m. might be my go-to time to do this. I'm still trying to find the right algorithm situation, but I do appreciate you guys listening. This has been Earl Ranft Skakel, Monday Night Raw Earlverse. I lost that jersey. Uh, I'm not a psychopath murderer. My name is from the movie Beau is Afraid. I thought it was funny. It's all right, birthday boy stab man. I don't think anyone in my stream is a psycho. I don't deal with psychos. I blow them away.